Hey, it's Cliff, and today this video is going to be about ibonds, and I'm actually going to pull up the Treasury Direct website to show you how to purchase the ibonds. So typically, when people think of ibonds or bonds in general, they're thinking of someone who's about to retire and they need something to kind of bring more stability to their portfolio. They don't want to have to weather a hard downturn that we're currently seeing in stocks as they're about to retire. Obviously, they don't want to have all their equity gone, with the blink of an eye when they're still withdrawing from that portfolio. So typically what they're going to do is they're going to kind of shift some of their stocks over to these bonds just to, give a little bit more stability. So when I look at the analytics for my channel, most people are not in that age group. They're in what they call the boring middle, which just means you're into your career, you're investing heavily into retirement so you can hopefully reach that point of retiring one day and you can do it comfortably. So that boring middle group generally is not going to invest in bonds. They're looking for something that has greater returns than the almost 10% that we're seeing right now in these ibonds. So because the rate is so high right now, I've been trying to kind of brainstorm ways that we could actually use this to our advantage right now. And one of the things I've been thinking of is probably a good way to use this is you could invest into these to have a good down payment on a house. I think that would be a good option because generally that window when you're trying to decide if you're going to actually purchase a house is below 5 years. And at that point, you might not necessarily want to invest your money because of the volatility that you could see. You're generally saving up that money. You want it to remain stable, and usually people put it into a savings account to actually do that. But as you're putting it into a savings account, it's getting eaten away by inflation. Now, we are seeing savings rates, or actually the interest rates on the savings account are going up as the Fed is trying to combat the inflation a little bit, but it's not going to get to the point where we're seeing almost 10% like you're going to get with a bond. So I think using these bonds would be a good spot to kind of put a housing fund into, and then you can kind of just weather the storm from there in what these bonds can provide. Number two that I think is even better of an option is to kind of gradually put money into these for your emergency fund. So generally, like I said with the housing, you're going to be putting money into a savings account. It's going to get eaten away with inflation. However, you could be slowly investing into these bonds to the point that they're building up enough and you're hedging against inflation. And you could do that in a method that they call like a ladder. Essentially, you're just putting in around 100 bucks a month or so to kind of build it up to where if 1 month came around, you would be able to have enough money to weather whatever happened to you that month. So I think that's a really good idea to do that as well. So let me just bring up the website here. So here's Treasury Direct, and I'm gonna be honest with you, this is a very old government website. It is glitchy, and it definitely needs updated, but it works. So I doubt we're gonna see any updates happening anytime soon. So the first thing you can see here, current rate is 9.62%. That's what you'll get if you buy through October of 2022. And if we scroll down here, you can see here's the limitation. So one person can put in 10K. So yourself, 10K, but let's say you have a spouse. There's another 10K. If you have kids, you could do another 10K. If you got 2 kids, there's 20K. So there you're at 40K at that point into saving for your house fund. There's 40K if you're doing this, multiple years, obviously gonna be more. And I think this would be a safer spot to put your money for your housing fund than your bank account. So just scrolling down, here is another limitation that comes with that. It says you can cash the bond after 12 months. However, if you cash the bond before it's 5 years old, you lose the last 3 months of interest. So to me, you're using this as just a savings account, like I said, emergency fund. If you're saving for a house, losing that last 3 months of interest isn't that big of a deal. You can leave this money here after the year, and at that point, you're not in a hurry to where you have to take this money out or use it at any certain point. So I just think it's a better spot than a savings account, to be honest. And how it works is they have a fixed rate and an inflation rate. So generally your fixed rate is going to be around 0. It doesn't do anything, to be honest. These bonds are not really considered an investment. Like I said, they're not going to gain you money. They're just meant to be there for you to weather inflation. So as I scroll down here, it'll actually break down how they actually come to the rate. So fixed rate is 0 right now, and the semi-annual inflation rate is around 4.81. When you combine that into a year, you're going to get 9.62%. And as I scroll down, they have a chart so you can kind of see when your rate would change. So if we're in May now, obviously November 1st is going to be when the rates change. So if we scroll back up, this 9.62% is going to change in November. So if you're looking to lock in that rate, this is something that you're going to want to do pretty soon. We don't necessarily know if the rate's going to go up or down, but generally from the news that I've been seeing with the Fed is they are starting to say that they are beating inflation at this point. As they're adjusting the interest rates back up, they believe they're getting a handle on inflation. To me, that's kind of signaling that this rate is probably going to go down, but you know, nobody has a crystal ball. Nobody can predict the future. So if you want to secure that rate, you got to lock it in right now. But yeah, as you can see, fixed rate, like I said, is generally around 2%. It doesn't climb much. Looks like the highest it's been was 3.4%, and that was in 1998. So I wouldn't expect much from this. Obviously, the inflation rate is pretty high right now because we're seeing a lot of inflation. So yeah, just like I was saying, this isn't an investment. It's really just something for you to secure your money. If you can hear that in the background, that's my dog. He has itchy ears, so hopefully that's not too annoying. But anyway, moving on. So if you want to buy these, you're going to go to this Treasury direct website, and you're going to hit on individuals. You're going to go my account. At that point, you're going to need to make an account, and it's pretty easy to do. It's like if you can create your YouTube account, you can do this. I'm not going to really go into that because like I said, it's easy. So once you log into the account, it's going to take you to this page right here where you can kind of track everything that you've purchased so far. If you want to purchase, you just go to buy direct right here, and then you're going to scroll, go to Series I, hit submit, and this is where you can put in the amount you want to purchase. Obviously your fund sources. You can do a single purchase here where you can kind of set a date, or you can do a reoccurring purchase. You can actually pick certain dates that you want to actually purchase these and kind of plan it out in a schedule. But after that, you just hit submit, and that's pretty much it. It's really simple to do. They don't overly complicate this, you know, website. Even though it is old, it's pretty straightforward. So that's pretty much it for the video. If you guys have any questions about it, please let me know down in the comments, and I will be sure to answer those for you. And yeah, thank you for watching.